Hello and welcome to Thrive in 5. If you've been following the recent election cycle here in the United States, there's one thing you have to know by now, which is that the voters are angry. And it's not just on one particular side of the aisle or the other. To quote a recent NPR piece, anger seems to be the dominant emotion during this presidential campaign. The angriest seem to be the Republicans, upset with everything from illegal immigration to ISIS to President Obama. Donald Trump has said he's proud to carry that mantle. But on the left, there's a different kind of frustration, disappointment, and dissatisfaction with the political climate that is driving many to Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, of course, those of us who are angry will say that they're not very happy with the way business is being conducted in Washington, and how else are we going to see change occur unless we get angry? The question is that really true? In this week's Torah portion, called Vayakhel, we're told about the building of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary that the Jews carried with them as they wandered through the wilderness. And we're told that those who were given the chachma, the wisdom to build that sanctuary, were chachmei lev, wise-hearted people, which of course begs the question, if they are already wise-hearted people, then why did God have to give them wisdom? So you see, some commentators answer that the term chacham lev, wise-hearted, refers to the person's desire for wisdom. In other words, the Torah is telling us that God gives wisdom to those who really, really want it badly enough. Now, I would define wisdom as simply understanding how the world works, and the world is a very complex place. So in order to understand it, we have to really, really want that wisdom. And I would say that wanting wisdom can be divided into two areas. Number one, of course, is you have to work hard for it. You got to study. If you have any subject, especially a complex subject, you need to put the time in. You need to put the effort in. But I think an even more important ingredient is that we have to possess an unrelenting drive for truth, no matter where that drive takes us. You see, because we human beings, we are taught, are innately very, very biased. In fact, our mystical tradition teaches us that we have two very powerful emotional drives. One that's referred to as ahava, love, and the other called yira, or fear. And what they're essentially saying is there are things that we are drawn towards very powerfully, and there are things that we are repelled by equally powerfully. But at the center of each human being is a character trait called emes, which means truth or balance. Because in order to navigate between our natural passions, we have to have a very, very strong grounding in a desire for truth and balance, regardless of what it is we want. If there's any trait that is the antithesis of this balance, I would say it's anger. Anger feeds passion. When we're angry, we certainly don't have balance, and we don't even necessarily recognize the need for balance. All caution is thrown to the wind. It is not a recipe for wise decision-making or wisdom. And if we were just talking about the election, I probably wouldn't be talking about it at all, but I think the election reflects a lot of the way a lot of us do business in our lives. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of the anger being expressed in the election is actually stuff that comes from a lot of anger within people. And what we need to understand, and what I think we're being taught, is that if we want to really live lives filled with wisdom, anger is actually a very bad idea. It's almost never constructive. And this isn't to say that we're being told never to get angry, because we're human. We're going to get angry sometimes. But what it is telling us, I think, is that when we're making decisions, when we're evaluating our lives, we have to keep in mind, what's our state of mind? Where are we coming from? Are we in a settled, calm, and balanced place? It's not going to keep us from getting angry. But I think at the very least, we're going to realize, A, that anger is not a good idea, and B, when we are angry, it is most definitely not the time to be calling the shots in our lives, and that we should at least put it aside and wait to a time when we're feeling a lot more settled, a lot more balanced, and a lot calmer. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week, and look forward to seeing you again next month for another Thrive in 5.